Hey y'all, it's Danielle from Black Business Boom and Black Owned Nashville. I am here with Sharon Hurt, who is running for Nashville Mayor. So excited to have Sharon join me today. And she's just done some amazing things in the community. So, really excited to learn more about her platform running for mayor. Welcome, Sharon. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm doing very well.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's a
Great.
wonderful day. I get to spend my day speaking to such amazing people. So let's jump on in. I've been sticking to some of the hot topics as I've been talking to folks today. And I think one that's really near and dear to my heart for sure is the issues facing minority business owners in and I would love to learn about any plans or strategies that you would propose to support small businesses in Nashville.
So, you know that I have been doing this work of advocating for small minority and women owned businesses for the past 25 years. And so, what I plan to do, I didn't just start doing it. It started when I encouraged Council Member Jerry Maynard and Council Member Lionel Matthews to put a 20% minority mandatory fee in all of minority contracting. Then we were able, once I became a council member, I was able to sponsor legislation for equal business opportunity legislation to make sure that we put more meat into the contracting process that we have with Metro. And since that time, I was able to put a 25% deal onto the stadium. That means that for a $2.1 billion stadium, that's $625 million that will come back to small, minority, and women owned businesses. That equals to $600,000 a day for the next 3 years. Not only that, but I've been very much in communication with Doug Crulin at the airport. And I thought I was being very hard, but he told me that he saw me as a mentor to him, that I was able to convince him to look at the way that they did minority contracting. And since I've been talking to him for the past 3 years, he's gone from 13% minority concessionaires to over 45% minority concessionaires, $50 million in minority contracting to over $300 million. So I'm not telling you what it is that I am going to do. I'm not making those promises. I'm showing you and telling you that I have proven records of having done so, and that will continue because that's who I am. That's what I'm about. I have given almost, 25 years of my life
That is
to
amazing.
small minority businesses. And not only that, I created a workforce development program in order to get more people in that 37208 community jobs because small businesses are the ones that hire people.
Absolutely.
They drive the workforce.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I try to why I try to push the growth of small businesses because the
Absolutely.
more they grow, the more people they can employ in our neighborhood.
And that's the only way we're going to get generational wealth. It's through contracts that this is happening in this city. And now that the stadium is going to be rebuilt, it is opening up the space for the East Bank development.
Mm.
East Bank development is going to be 10 times more when we talk about building revenue, generating revenue. So that means that we can depend on more opportunities for small, minority, and women owned businesses. And you can be assured that that 25% that went to the stadium is going to also go to that East Bank because we've already set the precedents.
And I think that was my biggest concern with the new stadium and with the development of East Bank, that we make sure that we get our fair share in that.
Absolutely. That was I was insistent on making that happen. And as I said, I've been working for this and building up to this for years, waiting for that opportunity to come. And when I tell you, being on many of these council committees, and being on the council, I see that the money is made through contracts. And when
You
you
know,
build,
I tell people all the time, Sharon, the importance of us advocating for us to get those contracts or get a good percentage of the contracts, because
absolutely,
one of those contracts can literally change your life. And it
absolutely.
can change your life, not just your life, your family's life for
Absolutely.
generations.
And create the generational wealth. You know what? I was in Bricktops the other day, and it was a white gentleman that stopped me. And he was the council member Hurt. And I said, yes. He said, I just wanted to thank you for what you've done with the stadium because that will bring people out of poverty. And I said, it absolutely will. And that's what we have to do. I'm telling people we cannot change the cost of eggs. We cannot change the afford because the cost of living here in Nashville is there. What we can change is how much money that comes to our communities. And we do this by contracting, putting people in positions for them to create their own businesses, make sure that they're getting their fair share in contracts. And I don't want people to be afraid that this is going to happen. Well, we've had empty promises over and over and over, and we have, but
Yeah.
you have not had anyone in that seat that can make it happen, who really knows your concerns and your issues. I tell them I'm not trying to get a piece of the pie. I want the recipe because I need for all of our families to be able to make that pie, and we can have great Thanksgiving dinners.
Love it. So, affordability is a big topic, very important. That we talk about affordable housing and folks not being able to live in the neighborhoods that they work in, the neighborhoods they've grown up in. And so,
Right.
I would love to hear your thoughts and your plans for affordable housing in Nashville.
So first of all, affordable housing is not really affordable. So I think that we're going to have to change that. Now, I love what MDHA is doing, where they have 50% affordable housing, as we say, and then they've got 25% workforce housing and 25% market rate. So I love that formula and that concept that is being utilized across the city. But we're going to have to create more affordable and attainable housing. And attainable housing basically is providing people housing that they can live with, not necessarily that it's affordable, but it is compared, not income based, but in some kinds of ways, it is income based. It is where they are be able to attain the housing that they need. I want to create more housing, whether we use the vacant buildings, vacant lands, these strip malls, warehouses that we have all over this city that we have underutilized. I want to use the East Bank development as another opportunity for us to build housing. And I also think that we're going to have generational housing that we need to build. There are doodads that we put in these standalone dwellings that go in behind some people houses. People know them as mother-in-law units and things of that nature. We passed that in the council some months ago, and especially to be utilized in the 37208 area. I
Mhm.
think we need to do those kinds of things. I would love to see where our families are working to have that generational housing opportunities. And even when people have to give up their property for a new development, I want them to be owners of the development, be co-owners of that development.
Good.
So I'll give you the property, but what I want to do, I want to have the unit on the first floor, and I also want to receive my fair share of the rent from all the others that you're using because I'm a 20% owner of the property.
I
So
love the creativity, Sharon. I love it. I think that we keep trying to, especially with minorities, especially with the Black community, we keep trying to force Black folks to fit in the box, and the box wasn't made for us. And it's time for us to create another box. And so
Absolutely.
I love
That's
the
exactly,
creativity.
we got to create our own. We
Yeah,
make our own pies, create our own boxes because we've got the land. This is something that happened. You know, this is the reversal of white flight. The white flight is when we were
that's
in the
exactly what it is.
exactly,
That's exactly what it is. Love it.
exactly
So we've also seen an uptick in crime,
right.
in violence in Nashville, and there's a lot of concern around that. Can you tell me what your plans are to address that and bring down that crime rate?
First of all, we're going to have to invest in our communities. I want to restore hope and prosperity. Our kids don't have any hope. When I came here to school at Tennessee State and saw how clean the city was, the progressiveness, everything that was going on, I was so inspired. And people come here to have their dreams come true. That whether they're a student, a songwriter, musician, they believe that their dreams can come true in Nashville. And I still have that dream for them. But our culture has changed, but the politics have not. And since they have not, then we're seeing the same things that we've always seen. So now what we've got to do is more investment. They closing the community centers, closing the outdoor pools, taking away the means for our children to get rid of some of that high energy that they have. And not only that, but you see that the wealth gap is increasing. And when you look at that, it's more of the have and the have-nots. So these kids are starving. I give you a short story. A judge told me that he saw this young man coming into his court, and he kept saying, "Wait a minute, why you keep on here? What you want the new Jordans? You committed a crime again because you want the new Jordans?" And the young man said, "No, I want my mother and brother out of the projects." So our kids are doing whatever they have to do to try to make a better life for themselves and for their family. That's what I want to do. That's why I want them to get in business. If they can sell drugs, they know how to count money. They know how to be creative. They have a hustle. And we want to put that hustle to some legal work and make sure that they can do. Look at Robert Sherrill, who is over Imperial Cleaning Services.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing. Went to jail because he got caught up in the drug game. But he's come out and done a marvelous job. We need to recreate that over and over and over again. I think we also have to have community policing, not saying that we don't need the police because we do. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it has to be both. I think the police got to respect the streets and the streets got to respect the police. I'm not above going and getting the Nation of Islam. I'm not above getting violence interrupters. I'm not above going and getting these black fraternities and saying, listen, I need you all here. So these young men can have someone to look up to. That was one of the reasons why I was really disturbed about Superintendent Sean Joseph being removed from our school system because the school system is lined with young men and women that look like us,
Yeah.
and to have a man who was there that they could look up to as a role model, as a father figure to help them navigate what they needed. You know, to me, that was a real blow. That's why I went so hard in standing up for him. That's why I go hard in standing up for my people. You know, I worked at Meharry Medical College 20 years. And the motto there is that we serve the underserved. And I realized graduating from Tennessee State, what's the motto? Enter to learn, go forth to serve. So it's in our blood, it's in our DNA. We've been told that that's what we need to do. And we can't say to people if we don't serve them, and we can't lead them if we don't love them. And I got all of that inside of me to be able to do for all people, all Nashvilleians. I know how to navigate and be in the spaces of those that are not a part of the minority race community, as we say it. But I believe that the minority community is pro-minority. We're really the majority.
Mhm.
We just don't understand it. So I really want to also change the way people look at minority. It's not race based, it's needs based. It's women, LGBTQ,
Veterans.
disabled, veterans,
Yeah.
those people who may be autistic, all of them are minorities. Anyone, left-handed people
Like
are
me.
minorities. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is being drawn to people who are right-handed. So anyone who's been disenfranchised, dismissed, discounted, marginalized
Mm.
is a part of that group. So it's more of us than it is those in the other group. And I
Thank you
just
so
want us
much
to
for
say,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I got one last question for you, and that's around the school system, and that's something you touched on. But we know that there are some opportunities for education and for improving MNPS. So I would love to hear just a little bit about your plan for being able to do that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, the one thing it is that in the formative years, 3, 4, and 5 years old, our children learn to read. 6, 7, 8, they read to learn. But if we fail to teach them how to read, they end up in a pipeline to prison. As opposed to that, I want them to be on a pipeline to prosperity because I'm going to ensure that every kindergarten, that before they go into the first grade, they will know how to read. Everything is fundamental, and we got to build it on a strong foundation. And reading is the foundation for everything. I don't care whether you're going to be an English teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, you have to be able to read. A scientist, a rocket scientist. That is fundamental for all of us. And that's the one thing I'm going to ensure. And that's a reading initiative that I do plan to have. And of course, I'm a strong advocate of early childhood education and want to see that we put more money, effort, and even use some of our um, again going back to the village with our family. You know how the family, the auntie took care of all of the kids, like my sister has helped raise my brother's children, his grandchildren. She's helped me with my children, and now she's coming and helping with my grandchildren, and so forth and so on. Get those people into our childhood education, early childhood uh, venues, and make sure in those schools that they are helping to train our kids. It gives them a longer life, and as we know, people are living longer. The social services department says that 1 in 4 people will live to be 100 years old.
Mm.
Utilize them. Utilize some of those retired teachers. They don't have to come in and work every day, but put them into some of those programs that can help us get those kids on a trajectory of prosperity and not one of prison.
I love it. Love the pipeline of prosperity for sure.
Absolutely, we've got to do it. And my whole thing is that we've got to create our generational wealth. When they brought the interstate in and took half out our businesses and our homes, that stopped the generational wealth that we had in that North Nashville community. So we had to start and build all over again. So now this is our time. And if we are able to do it with someone who understands those issues in City Hall, just think about the things that I have done with no money and very little resources. If I'm in the mayor's office with money, resources, human resources to actually get these things done, just imagine how we can change this city. And look, nothing changes if nothing changes, and I am the change that this city needs.
Thank
And
you so much, Sharon.
it is our time.
How do we learn more about your platform for those that are tuned in? They want to
Oh,
learn more and they want to get behind you and support. What's the best way for them to do that?
go to my website, Sharon for Nashville, Sharon FOR Nashville, because Sharon is trying to make Nashville a better place for all Nashvillians. Not that she's going to be mayor, because if I could do all of this work without having to do it, if I had access to the resources and access to the money, I would. I don't have to be mayor, but in order to get it, you have to be in that role because it takes that leadership role and the authority in which we have in order to do that. So I ask you to go to Sharon for Nashville.com. Look at my platform, look at the website, look at the accomplishments, the things that I've done and what I'm committed to. People think that I've been in politics for a long time, but I haven't. I've actually served 2 terms as a council member, and that's the term limit that you can do it. And I am now moving into that other position as a foray in order for me to really make the kind of change that I believe the city and its people deserve. I want to not leave one block, one community behind, but restore hope and prosperity on every block for every person.
Thank you so much, Sharon. This was great. A lot of great information. We really appreciate everything you've already done for the community and the work that you will continue to do. You got the website if you want to learn more about Sharon. And again, Sharon, we wish you all the best in this.
Well, I thank you, Danielle, because, and I'm going to just say this last thing.
Okay.
It's time for Nashville to celebrate Black excellence and not just tolerate it. We've given so much to this city. It is time for the city to give back to us. And they will benefit from it right along with us. A rising tide lifts all boats. And we need us all to benefit so we can all have the quality of life. We can have life more abundantly, like it's been promised.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I love
Thank you so
it.
much.
Thank
And
you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate you for joining me.
thank you for everything that you're doing and continue to do to uplift Black businesses.
Absolutely. Have a great day. And
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a
Thank
wonderful day.
you too. Thank you all.